After tonight, the next time we will see Edwin Rios and his Dodgers teammates will be Friday afternoon in Colorado. Opening day, and it can't get here soon enough. Let's stay healthy and get through the night. The Freeway Series finale. Leadoff LA, let's go.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
It is the final dress rehearsal, the sprint through spring training coming to an end tonight here at Dodger Stadium before the real marathon begins on Friday. The final game of the Freeway Series, the Dodgers and Angels. It is 60 minutes away. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leadoff LA. I am John Hartung alongside Nomar Garciaparra, Adrian Gonzalez. Your first game back with us since last October, and both of your first pregame shows here at the stadium this season, and we're already melting, Nomer. It's early April, and it is blistering hot.
Well, apparently the Dodgers brought back the sun with them from Arizona because, yes, we are definitely feeling it on our back right now, but just like the Dodgers, we too are having an abbreviated spring training. We only need a couple of at-bats. Let's go.
That's it, and it's Taco Tuesday, so we're all happy.
Taco Tuesday.
We'll take the sun if it's a good taco with it.
All right, sounds great. We're going to get right to Dave Roberts' lineup card right now for tonight's final spring game. They're facing right-hander Michael Lorenzen out of Fullerton. Could very well be the Dodgers' regular season lineup against right-handers. You have Mookie Betts leading off, followed by Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, and Max Muncy. Justin Turner will DH and bat fifth. Will Smith does the catching. Cody Bellinger is in center. Chris Taylor in left, and Gavin Lux at second base batting ninth. Nomar, what sticks out to you?
You know how solid this lineup is. If everyone is healthy and everybody's in this, you're right. This does look like a regular season lineup, and hopefully they get through it today.
Yeah, no, this is a balanced lineup, left-right matchups, tough for any lefty or righty. This lineup is what we've been waiting for since the season preseason started.
All right, well, on the mounds for the Dodgers tonight, it will be Bobby Miller getting the ball on his 23rd birthday. He's going to start the season at Double-A Tulsa, but if all goes according to plan, we will likely see him pitching here at the Ravine later this year in meaningful games. Of course, tonight is going to be meaningful for Miller, pitching at Dodger Stadium for the very first time. He's the Dodgers' first-round draft pick in 2020, arguably the top pitching prospect in the organization. Bobby Miller did not pitch in any of the Dodgers' Cactus League games in Arizona, but here's your 23rd birthday present, kid. You're going to go out there in Dodger Stadium, and you're going to face Shohei Ohtani, the reigning American League MVP, as your very first batter. Right now, let's check inside the stadium. Kirsten Watson joining us live with more on Bobby Miller. Hi there, Kirsten.
Hi, John. And look, you just said it. This is going to be a huge day for Bobby Miller. Not only is it his 23rd birthday, but his first start this spring with the Dodgers. And what? You get to do that first start here at Dodger Stadium. So his family is here, so I know that he's excited. But here's what Dave Roberts had to say just about Bobby Miller.
Today, we got Bobby Miller going tonight, which is going to be exciting. One of our top prospects. He'll throw 3 innings tonight, might touch the 4th. But I think for us, it's our everyday guys going out there and looking to get out of this healthy and play a good, clean baseball game.
For Bobby, this is his first start this spring with you guys. Just what has stood out to you about him on the mound?
I think for me, and I haven't seen a whole lot of him, just kind of reports and videos, but just when you put eyes on him, he's very physical. He's really strong, athletic, and he's a student of the game. Just watching him in spring training and also here, he's watching every play and talking to veteran players, and I know his adrenaline is going to be going. It's going to be fun for everyone.
Do you suspect that this year we could see him making his Major League debut?
It wouldn't surprise me. Pure talent. I see no reason why he won't make his debut at some point, but obviously you got to go out there and play and perform and see where it takes us.
I got the chance to catch up with Bobby Miller the other day when we were in Anaheim, and I asked him, what should we expect to see from you on the mound today? And he told me, he said it's competitiveness. He said he's going to bring it to every single hitter. It doesn't matter who he's facing. They said that, of course, it will be with respect, but for him, it's just such that competitive nature. And we also heard Andrew Friedman talking about Bobby Miller yesterday, and he said that he's a player. He came into spring training this year. He put on some weight, and he came in even bigger and stronger, something they didn't even expect he could do. And the stuff is even better. So I think we're going to be in for a fun performance tonight, guys.
All right, Kirsten, thank you very much. It's going to be fun to watch him tonight. You mentioned what Andrew Friedman was saying about him, and Dontrell Willis was with us the last couple days. He was working with some of these guys in Arizona, Adrian. He said Bobby Miller showed up at camp in Arizona not touching 100. He was sitting at 100 miles an hour. This is a guy with really electric stuff. We'll see how it plays beginning tonight.
Yeah, no, I was talking to a few of the guys out there today during BP, and everybody was raving about him, raving about his stuff, his body, his makeup, his ability to control the game, and his ability to handle these kind of situations like what he's being put into today. So everybody's looking forward to today's start, seeing him on the big league mound and seeing what he can do. But yeah, I mean, the over-under on the first pitch is 101, and the over-under on the last pitch, that's fastball he throws today is 99. So he sits there, he throws the ball really well. A bunch of great off-speed stuff as well.
Well, you know what? I think that says a lot about him, you know, what they think of him. Here, he's only drafted just a couple years ago. The other thing, though, too, you have that maturity being drafted out of college as well, so you have that experience underneath your belt, and we know the electric arm. When you're hitting those triple digits, yeah, everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's going to go out there and expect an awful lot. But at the same time, the key is going out there, do what you do best, is keeping yourself composed out there, and go out there and attack the hitters.
And enjoy the birthday. A big moment for him here at Dodger Stadium, even though the games don't necessarily count at this point. Well, last night, the Dodgers president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman, he joined Joe Davis and Eric Karros in the booth, and he talked about what keeps him up at night, and a lot of it is starting pitching. But he mentioned some guys down on the farm who might soon be able to help.
We've got 3 really talented young pitchers in the minor leagues that have an opportunity to knock the door down. And so I think the high-end arms are definitely coming internally. We also have the ability to go to market, but it's just navigating the front part of this season that, you know, I think keeps us up a little bit, but I think it's just more a function of our personalities than a real worry, but we'll see as it plays out.
So Ryan Pepio, he's the opening day starter at AAA Oklahoma City. Actually, that game is getting underway as we speak. He is starting tonight. Bobby Miller's going to actually start the season in AA, Nomar. Do you think we see either one of these guys sooner than later at the big league level?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a chance to see these guys. I mean, obviously, you know, with the Dodgers, they always talk about depth and always having that, and they have it, and it's not just at the big league level, it's not just at AAA, but all the way down. And you have live arms like both of these guys' demeanor on the mound. This is what they're watching. They know what the stuff is capable of doing. They know their stuff is big league ready as far as being able to get hitters out. It's a matter of being able to be consistent with that stuff and also having that mound presence. And right now, that's what they're watching. That's what they're going to be looking for with Bobby Miller when he's out there at Dodger Stadium. Here you are, that triple deck. It changes everything, especially when you're in here in this type of environment, even if it is a spring training game. And they're going to be watching Pepio. They're going to be watching his stuff. They're going to be watching the movement, and they're also going to watch the way he's composed on that mound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think they will both make their debut this year. I'm really hoping that they make it because they earned their way and not because there was an injury. They're both going to be in the big leagues at some point this year, but they're both going to earn it. But let's be because they earned their way on, and not because of an injury forced them to have to come make an appearance and a start. But I think they're both electric. They're both incredible, and they'll both be in the big league roster this year.
And we'll see how they handle adversity at some point, because that will tell us a lot about the makeup of both guys. Still much more to come here from Dodger Stadium, the final game of the spring. Austin Barnes not in the starting lineup for the Freeway Series finale. We expect to see him plenty of times throughout the season, which begins on Friday. The final spring tune-up is just 50 minutes away. Plus, the lockout brought an abbreviated spring training schedule this season. We'll discuss if the recent struggles are caused by any lack of innings and if there's any concern heading into the season. Some spring stats of note for the Dodgers. Edwin Rios has had a really good spring after missing almost all of last year following shoulder surgery. Freddie Freeman joined the Dodgers a little late. Only 19 at-bats this spring, but hitting .368 with a home run. Clayton Kershaw's looked terrific in his 4 starts. Tyler Anderson's bulk guy out of the pen. He's impressed. Only 1 run allowed and 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. Dodgers have only 4 wins in 17 spring games, a -18 run differential. We know in a normal spring there are 30-plus games that you guys will play, but this year very much an abbreviated spring training. Most of the Dodgers hitters, Adrian, have had far less than 30 at-bats this spring. Is there any concern at all that maybe some of the guys are not as ready as they would like to be for the regular season?
I think the regulars are going to be ready. I think it's the guys that are in the bench that are not going to get the continued at bats that might need a little more time to get their timing in. But the regulars have been playing these last few games, consistently, and they're going to be in the lineup consistently once the season starts. So they're going to be fine. I think it's the guys that are going to fill in from time to time. The guys are going to have a little more of a struggle to get going.
You know what? It really depends year to year. I mean, there are years where you go out there in spring training and you're going, first 2 weeks of the spring training, you're like, I hope the season starts right now. I feel pretty good. I've had enough at-bats. And then there are times where you're going, I wish spring training was a lot longer. Like, I still can't seem to find it right now. I wish we had maybe a week longer. So, it really depends. Veteran guys know how to get themselves ready. They also understand, even if it's abbreviated, this is the cards that you're dealt. These guys are also working so hard prior to spring training now. These guys are in shape. The way they have their regimen, they're going to be ready.
And once you get to that veteran level, Adrian, you were saying the other day, just tell me when the games really count and I'll be ready.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when they say, it counts, you get yourself mentally, physically, and game ready. You prepare differently. Spring training, you're not watching video on the starter. You're not watching the relievers. You're not paying attention to any of that stuff. So season starts, you have all the data, you have all the information, and you know what you're looking for. You're not just up there looking for a fastball, a slider. Right. Now you're looking fastball up in the way, 2-2 count. Everything changes and everything counts, and your mindset's different.
Well, the Dodgers have not won many games this spring, and some of the stats are probably not very pretty in some of the guys' minds, but ready or not, opening day will be here in just 3 days. Let's check in again right now with Kirsten live inside the stadium with more. Kirsten.
Hey, John, I like that. Ready or not, here the season comes. It's truly now just 3 days away. And look, the lineup today, it looks like one that we could potentially see on opening day and in the regular season. Dave Roberts talked about that, as well as Dustin May, who threw a bullpen this afternoon.
I guess the easy answer is yes, but it's a small snapshot. It's a small moment in time. It was 3 weeks. So to kind of say that we get everything we wanted to accomplish, we did what we could do in 3 weeks, and everyone had the same schedule, and I feel good where we're at going into opening day.
And during the spring, how do you grade the pitching? Is any concerns with the pitching?
I love the players. Individually, certain guys were good, certain guys were not good, but I do believe that all of our guys are ready for April 8th.
Dustin May, you've thrown another bullpen today. How's he been doing?
Dustin was really good. I saw Dustin today. I think he threw around 25 pitches. It was just fastball, maybe some changeups, but it was as good as a pen as I've seen him throw. And I'm not talking about intensity. He was probably right around 90 miles an hour through that pen, but just the repeated throw, it was really impressive.
Dustin May threw his first bullpen on the back end of our time in Arizona, so to see him throw another one here at Dodger Stadium and just to hear that he's doing really well and progressing in the right direction is only good news. The timeline for him is still to see him around summertime, likely after All-Star. But look, you've heard it. I talked to Caleb Ferguson yesterday, and even some of these other guys like Tommy Canley and Edwin Rios, they all got a little antsy this offseason, and they're so ready to get back on the field. And for specifically like Dustin May and Caleb Ferguson, as well as Tommy Canley, back on the mound. And so it's exciting news that we will be seeing them coming sooner rather than later, and so that's always a good side. But in general, just with the conversation around will the guys be ready for opening day, I asked Dave Roberts last night just about the pitching, and is he more surprised as to how built up some of these pitchers are? And he said that, while there was a lot of questions, the guys actually are in a pretty good spot. We'll still see some piggybacking early on, especially in Colorado, but for the most part, guys are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's not always important to have guys ready for opening day. It's a marathon, so you got to play the long game. Thank you very much, Kirsten. We heard Dave Roberts talking about the starting pitching. He's seen some things, Adrian, that he's liked. He's also seen some things he hasn't liked. We heard Andrew Friedman say last night, starting pitching is what's keeping him up at night right now. You look at the Dodgers starting staff, they have the worst team ERA in terms of starting staffs in all of Major League Baseball this spring. Do we throw that out, or is there any reason to be concerned at all with anything we've seen?
I personally throw that out. I think the starting staff is great. They have backup. They have veteran players, veteran pitchers out there that are able to command and do the things that they need to do. I throw the team ERA out, and I think these guys are ready. I think these guys will be out there, like Dave said. They're going to piggyback early on, and they're going to get through these first 3 weeks, and then everybody's going to be 100% ready to go, full game if needed.
You know, the one thing that the Dodgers have done over the years, and we always talk about that word depth, whether it's pitching staff, whether it's starters, whether it's relievers, whatever it is, they try to long play some of these guys to make sure that they have bullets in their arsenal on the back end of the season and that postseason, because that's where they expect to be. So I think early on, obviously the expanded roster is for that reason, because it was an abbreviated spring training, but at the same time, really important for the starting pitcher, it's health. We all know that. First and foremost is their health. And these guys, they may be working on different things. I'm not worried about the ERA, because you don't know if guys are going, maybe Buehler's working on another pitch. He's not really going to tell us. I wouldn't tell the league if I'm working on a pitch out there or trying to do something different. Maybe that's what he's working on. Maybe some of these other starters are working on other things as well. So that's really doesn't matter. As long as they're feeling healthy and that they feel confident of the way the ball is coming out of their hand, those things are the two most important things.
Health, absolutely number one on the priority list. We don't worry about a guy with a 6 ERA during spring training. Well, as always, it's suns out, guns out for Clayton Kershaw. The next time we will see Kershaw on the mound, likely sometime this weekend in Colorado. Walker Buehler will get the start on opening day Friday afternoon at Coors Field in Colorado. Plus, no service time manipulation for some of the top prospects in all of baseball. We'll discuss the arrival of baseball's next wave of young stars coming up. Let's head down to the farm for the top 5 prospects in all of baseball. The Royals' Bobby Witt Jr., number 1. He found out this morning that he had made the Royals opening day roster. Adley Rutschman of the Royals was hurt during spring training. He's expected to be in the majors very soon. Both Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners and Spencer Torkelson of the Tigers made their respective opening day rosters, and Riley Green was on track to make the Tigers roster before he fractured his foot just a few days ago. And both of you guys know what it's like to be a top prospect, and you get the call and you make it to the show for the first time. I imagine there's pressure, but also with that is opportunity, Adrian. So what is it going to be like for those top prospects who are getting the call to the show on opening day?
I think they're all going to be just fine. I think these guys are ready. I know for a fact I played against Julio this summer in the Olympics, and he is incredible. He is a top prospect. These guys are ready, and if they get everyday at bats, they're going to be just fine. I think that's the key, is everyday at bats.
Listen, they've earned it. They've earned their spot. They are your top prospect. The one thing about having a top prospect might be, hey, you get a little bit more chances to fail. But when you get called up, it's because you haven't failed. This is because you end up earning it. And especially on an opening day, it's a little bit different over the middle of the season. You get called up maybe due to injury. But when it's opening day, that means what you've done in the past, you've earned to be there. So that's first and foremost. And then you go out there and you put on yourself to say, okay, I got to prove that I belong. Not only to myself, because that's one thing, you're always competing with yourself. You believe in it, but also for your team to understand that I want to belong here and play here for a long time.
Well, those guys are going to be here for a long time. What kind of baseball we will see over their careers, that's going to be evolving, because both of you guys know, since you both played your last major league game, the game is different. Certainly more in your case, Nomar. We see the launch angle. We see Manny Machado, a third baseman, playing right field. We see home runs and strikeouts galore. What do you think the game is going to look like 5 years from now?
That's a great question, John, because I know they're looking at rules, they're trying to change rules, they're trying to change things, and for me, it's really about understanding what the root of it is, and to me, I think what they've rewarded has changed so much, which has kind of caused some of these things as well. Yeah, you may have the shift, you go over there, but I mean, I saw Ken Griffey Jr., I saw Jim Thome, I saw, way back to Ted Williams, and everybody's like, well, that game's changed. I understand that, but they also shifted on those guys, and there were still adjustments. But also, when you start rewarding things a little bit different, when you're worried about slug more than maybe RBIs matter. They need to come back to this game. Batting average needs to matter once again. If you're rewarding that, even at the top level, then you're going to see guys, maybe going the way, maybe taking that hit with 2 strikes rather than trying to get 3 chances to try to hit it out of the ballpark. So I think that also helps the game change. But right now they're looking at changing the rules rather than changing what they reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Nomar said, I think the game changes every 5 years, every 10 years. It's a different game. The game that we went into is not the game that is being played today. I think that's going to be the same thing in 5 years. I think eliminating the shift is a good thing, so you can eliminate a little bit of the launch angle that these players are trying to go for, and focus more on that low line drive. Being able to hit the ball through the infield on the ground is going to be a big change to the game. So, but I think it's heading in the right direction. These pitchers are throwing a lot harder than they used to.
Yeah.
That's one thing that has been consistent over the years, is the pitchers are throwing harder and more consistently staying at that high velocity, which makes swings have to be shorter. And so But the game itself is going to continue to evolve, and hopefully it's in the right place with the fans, and everybody's happy, and things are going well.
I hope their swings get shorter, because I haven't seen too many, but I hope they get shorter. That's
would
a
be nice
concept.
to see.
I would like to see a shorter swing.
It would be nice to be some kind of correction, because the last couple of years we've seen way more strikeouts than hits. That had never happened in the history of the game until just recently.
That has to matter, too. That has to come back as being the
Strikeouts
thing
need
you
to
do
matter.
not like. Yeah.
All right, well, our high and tight poll question of the day is about the youngsters. We asked you on Twitter, which Dodgers top prospect are you most excited to see debut in the majors? We gave you Diego Cartaya, Ryan Pepio, Michael Busch, and Bobby Miller. And Bobby Miller running away with it at 61%. We are going to see Bobby Miller tonight. It's not in a regular season game. It's just a spring training game. But which of those guys, Nomar, are you looking forward to seeing make their major league debut at some point?
You know what? I'm looking for Cartaya. When I see him back, the way he just commands the game, the way he looks, he just seems so confident, comfortable, and so smooth behind home plate.
He does look great. He does look great. The only downside, I think, to the two position players is that they're going to have to take a position player's spot, and there is no spot there. So I'm going to have to go with the pitcher, and I'm going to have to go with today's starter. You know, I think I've heard great things about him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, Diego Cartaya is going to start at Great Lakes playing high A, and eventually will work his way up. But like you guys said, you've got Austin Barnes, you have Will Smith, so it'd be tough for him to crack it at least this upcoming season. Still more to come. Edwin Rios, the Dodgers' offensive MVP of spring training. In return, he's already been named to the opening day roster. Plus, he was going to be joining us live in about 8 minutes. Dodgers and Halos right here, top of the hour. Boy, it's feeling a little like summertime out here at the Ravine. The field is certainly regular season ready. It is a beautiful sight here to be back at Dodger Stadium to watch them take on the Angels in the final spring tune-up in the final game of this Freeway Series. So what are you trying to get out of this final game, Adrian, if you're one of the position players and one of the hitters, aside from just getting out of the game healthy?
Well, for me, when I was playing, I would always look for a certain pitch and just try to cover a pitch. And you have 2-3 at-bats to do it and just get the timing and the rhythm and the feel good at the plate, feel good moving on defense, and that's about it. So I expect these guys to just go out there, work on their craft, get their swings in, get their timing, feel comfortable out there, and then shut it down so they can be healthy for opening day.
Yeah, really about confidence. Really feeling confidence going into the season. Say, okay, I'm looking for that one hard hit, maybe driving the ball, whatever it may be, maybe just recognizing a pitch that, oh, I saw that pitch really well, I feel good.
All right, and the Dodgers will probably have one more workout because they have 2 off days before opening day Friday in Colorado. Straight ahead, Edwin Rios is going to be joining us live from the dugout. Plus, we will check in with Joe Davis and Eric Karros. And the humidor, no longer just a thing for Coors Field. There's one here at the Ravine. Plenty more coming up on Accent.
It's time for Dodger baseball. And these Dodgers at last are world champions. Got it. They've done it. It's the impossible dream revisited.
The future Hall of Famers got a ring.
We are the ones that won the World Series. It's just amazing.
Dodgers select Bobby Miller.
Not something I expected this fast. It's been a dream of mine my whole life. So yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Just 3 more days until opening day in Colorado tonight at Dodger Stadium. The final tune-up for the 2022 season. The Dodgers wrapping up their spring schedule as they send top pitching prospect Bobby Miller to the mound against the Angels coming up in just 30 minutes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers. I'm John Hartung alongside Nomar Garcia-Parra and Adrian Gonzalez. It's hard to believe that spring training is already ending. It seemed like it just started yesterday. In your case, you're like, wait, when did it even start?
Yeah, well, this is the first day here, so I'm like,
yeah, this is the start of spring training for you.
Let's go out there and let's just start the season. But you know what? The Dodgers are ready, and so are the fans.
Yeah, and I mean, I think abbreviated spring training is a good thing. I think these guys are ready and they're hungry and they're excited. Can't wait for Friday, but they got to get this one in today first.
All right, just one more game, Dodgers and Angels. That doesn't count before they do count. Let's check out Dave Roberts' lineup to go in this final game of the spring against hard-throwing right-hander Michael Lorenzen, the former Cincinnati Red and Fullerton native, back home pitching for the Angels. You have Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner. Max Muncy is in the cleanup spot playing third base tonight. Justin Turner will DH. Will Smith does the catching. Cody Bellinger in center. Chris Taylor playing left. And Gavin Lux getting a chance to start at second base, batting ninth with Bobby Miller on the mound. Adrian, what sticks out to you with this lineup tonight?
No, I think it's a great lineup. I think it's balanced. I think it's the lineup we're all excited to see, and we're ready for this game, for Friday's game to start.
You know, what sticks out to me is here you have Justin Turner in the DH. You see Max Muncy over there at third. I think you're going to see that quite a bit over the course of the season as well. But we also know they have so much versatility because you got Chris Taylor can also go over there. They have a lot of options, but either way, solid.
Yeah, and the Dodgers, they're going to face a left-hander in Kyle Freeland on opening day Friday. They're facing a right-hander tonight. When you look at the lineup, Nomar, does this look like the lineup we might see Saturday and Sunday in Colorado? An opening day caliber lineup when they face a right-hander?
Yeah, I think so. And it'll really be interesting to see what Dave Roberts does, because we know he likes to do that left-right matchup over the course of the season. And now with that DH, we'll see how that also plays out with those left-right matchups. Is, you know, typically in an American League style game, you can have guys on the bench that may not see the field for like 2 weeks. Dave Roberts is not going to do that. He's going to make sure guys are going to try to get as many regular at-bats as possible, because he really depends on his bench. And I don't think even with the DH over the course of the season, that's going to matter.
I think so. I think the platoon ingredient's always going to be there with Dave and the Dodgers, and I think these guys stay fresh that way. They stay ready, and when they're called upon, they're always ready to go. So we do have a great balanced lineup, that's for sure.
Certainly do, and you have some other guys waiting in the wings on the bench. Could probably start a lot of games as well. Speaking of our first guy, we've seen a lot of guys having a real standout spring, but none more so than Edwin Rios, who's joining us now live from the Dodgers dugout. Edwin, it's John Hartung here, Nomar Garciaparra, Adrian Gonzalez. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us. You talked recently about this being a revenge season for you. Where does that mindset stem from for you?
I just think it stems from the long off season I had. I feel like I let myself down last year. Obviously the injury. I try not to blame so much on the injury. But for me, it's definitely, like I said, comeback revenge season. Just trying to show everybody what I showed them in 2020, and take it day to day.
You know, you said this is potentially that redemption season, but how do you balance from trying to do too much and also staying composed and go out there and just playing your game?
Just kind of going back to being a hitter. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me. Trying not to do too much, keep it quiet at the plate, put the ball in play, and good things will happen.
Eddie, good seeing you. Your swing looks amazing right now in spring, and my only question to you really is, how's that shoulder feel in that follow-through? Because your follow-through looks really good. I know you had surgery, and that's one of the things that makes you such a great hitter with such good backspin. How's that follow-through been feeling so far this spring?
It's good. I'm glad I kind of let it eat a little bit in the off-season. Didn't wait till spring to kind of, let it go and get a feel for it. I tried to hit the ground running, had some live ABs, and, just try to let it rip, knowing that, you're going to have some discomfort at the beginning, but I think I'm in a good spot right now. It's feeling strong, and just making sure I'm staying on top of it and keeping it healthy.
Edwin, obviously it's been a really quick ramp up for yourself and everybody around Major League Baseball, so a lot of people out there are going to be watching to see if everyone is truly ready for the start of the season. Have there been any challenges for yourself and maybe some of your teammates with having such an abbreviated spring training this year?
For me, I'd say no. I had this mindset since surgery that I wanted to be, 100% ready for spring. I had a lot of at-bats before coming into spring, faced a lot of big leaguers, and I made it a point to, when I came into spring, to hit the ground running and be ready to go. So I feel like for me it was a little different. Guys were probably trying to get their off season and, spend some time with their families. But for me, I had a long one, a lot of rehab, and a lot of strengthening.
You talk about that, a lot of rehab. You talk about hitting the ground running. For you during that rehab, what was the hardest part for your rehab?
I'd say the throwing. Obviously, the hitting came back pretty quick. I would say the throwing, kind of getting on that throwing program, not trying to do too much. It's also my lead arm and my throwing arm, so I just had to be careful, tread lightly and try not to do too much.
And within your throwing, Eddie, how's your footwork on playing multiple positions and getting yourself, for be able to possibly play some outfield and make some long throws? Where are you at in the progression with that?
We did some long toss today. It felt great. Definitely ready to play first and third. I think as the season goes on, I think I'll be able to go out there and make the long throws, no problem. Obviously, gotta get some throws out of the way and check those boxes.
Edwin, last night on our post-game show, we had Dontrell Willis on with us, and I don't know if when he was playing and pitching for the Marlins, if you were a big fan of his when you were kind of spending some time in South Florida when you were younger, but we were showing video clips of him hitting bombs. He had a 2-homer game one time, and I said on the show last night, I want to see a home run derby between Edwin Rios and Dontrell Willis, and Dontrell said, oh, he doesn't want that smoke. So would you want that smoke, one, and also have you competed in a home run derby?
We can make it happen. I ain't going to say he's old, but, I still got that youth in me, I think. So I don't know.
Have you ever done a home run derby? Have you competed in one before?
No, actually I haven't. It's crazy. Everybody always wants to, hey, have you ever? No, I've never done one. My dad always told me hit line drives to the shortstop. So
what a concept.
But yeah.
Yeah. What a concept.
Well said. Don't be challenging people on set to guys and the players. We got to stop that. All right, let's just stop that. But Edwin, listen. Prior to the injury, you were doing so well. You came up here, obviously, proved yourself that you belong here at the big league level. What did you learn about yourself prior to the injury, and then what do you understand about yourself, and are you back there again, now?
I just think just patience. Patience and, just staying calm and collective is the biggest thing. Like I told you guys earlier, just trying not to do too much. Knowing my role, knowing opportunities are going to come, and, just taking it easy and just believing in my ability and knowing what I can do.
Eddie, what is your routine right now to be ready to play? If you're not playing every day, what is it that you go to make yourself be ready when you are called upon to be in the game and be ready for the in-game pitching?
Luckily now we're in big league fields, so we can go down there and, I can move around a lot more, stretch, throw some weighted balls and stuff like that to get ready. During spring, it was kind of a test just because when you're coming into a game, you're just sitting in the dugout. You have no cages, you have nowhere to go, but it's going to be a lot easier now, just making sure my legs are warmed up, making sure my arm's good to go, and just get ready to get out there.
Edwin, we saw you playing so well in 2019, again in 2020, then you have the injury last year, but you've got big league experience. Still, having said that, did it mean a lot to you when you found out yesterday or the day before that you had indeed made the opening day roster after everything that you had been through?
Yeah, man, it was a blessing. Like I said, I try to make it a point to be ready. Show the staff, show my teammates that, I'm still that same player. And to be able to be on this opening day roster with these guys and being again with these in this clubhouse again with these guys, it's truly a blessing and, something I won't take for granted.
Awesome stuff. Edwin Rios, thank you so much for taking time to be with us. Good luck. Have a nice, healthy, long, full season here in 2022. Yes. Going to do a lot of great things once again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Edwin.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
All right, the Dodgers have one of the most entertaining third base coaches in all of baseball, Dino Ebel, going to be mic'd up for tonight's game. That's always a fun part of the final spring training game of the year. Plus, in a small room behind home plate, now sits a humidor. But why here? Why at Dodger Stadium? We're going to talk about that coming up next. Looking ahead on the Dodgers calendar, all regular season games after tonight. What a sight that is. Opening day Friday in Colorado, 1 p.m. Then a 5 o'clock start Saturday, a noon first pitch on Sunday. Then the Dodgers head to Minneapolis for a quick 2-game set with the Twins. A 10 a.m. start bright and early Tuesday. All of these games right here on Sportsnet LA. Let's be honest. A lot of the players, they need spring training. Joe Davis and Eric Karros, they don't really need spring training to get ready for the season, but they are still up in the booth, ready to call tonight's final game of this spring calendar. Hi there, Joe. How are you?
What's going on, John? Final game of the spring. I think everybody's ready for the real thing at this point.
Yeah,
I think, though, tonight we're going to see the real thing, at least out on the mound. So we've got one more game, and then we get going, but tonight's going to be a good one.
Bobby Miller, and you know that it's a big deal when a prospect's starting, and all the current big leaguers around the cage talking about how excited they are to watch him pitch.
Well, spring training, especially this time right now, everybody's just angling to get the season started. But tonight, Bobby Miller's going to take the mound, and he's going to treat this like it's a 7th game of the World Series. He's going to go out and compete, one of the top prospects in the Dodger organization, throws about 100 miles an hour, and I'll tell you what, this is not a spring training game for him tonight.
On his 23rd birthday. What a special birthday this set to be for him. Starting here at Dodger Stadium, facing the Angels in the final tune-up before the real thing, boys.
All right, Joe and Eric, looking forward to it. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Well, there's an interesting story that's largely flown under the radar as we're about to begin the season. All 30 Major League ballparks have a humidor this year. That's right. It's no longer for places just like Colorado and Arizona. Eno Saris of The Athletic wrote a story about this a few days ago, talking about how MLB wants consistency with how it stores all of its baseballs. As we've seen in the past, the humidor, it helps reduce home run rates in Colorado and Arizona, but also, according to this story in The Athletic, what the humidor is going to do in humid cities is actually remove water from the air, and it's going to increase the bounciness of the baseball. No, Marcia, we're going to see less home run rates in Colorado and Arizona, and possibly greater home run rates in places like San Diego, Oakland, San Francisco, and anywhere else where there's high humidity. What do you think?
Well, you know how I felt about the humidor before they put it through baseball, which is just wrong, because apparently, according to the rules, that you're not supposed to doctor the ball. Well, if MLB says you can, then you can, as long as, I guess, it's not with the spider tech or anything else, but the humidor. So I'm just curious what humidor they're doing with the bats, because you got to be able to put your bats in there too, or I should be able to cork my bat when I go to a stadium where it's really harder to hit home runs, apparently. So I should be able to doctor that equipment.
Right.
So don't mess with the equipment. It is what it is. Put the balls out there if that's the way it flies. If the stadium, you don't have to doctor your equipment. You shouldn't have to due to the stadium.
My only thought on this is they have to have a humidor, and they have to have a safe place to store the baseballs. Does that mean that the baseballs have to be in the humidor? I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know either. It's a strange thing, because we walked into this green, it used to be our green room where we got makeup on, and now there's this huge humidor. We actually walked in there. We got to see it. It's set at 71 degrees. It's massive, and then they actually opened the door, and you saw the baseballs in there, and MLB doing their thing.
Oh, they're in there, and there were some cigars in there too, but that's aside the point. But at the same time too, so are they also adjusting the temperature based on the humidity and the certain city, which I assume they're doing as well? So, like I said, it's just, you can't doctor equipment. Just put the baseball, go out there and play. That's the unique thing about baseball too, about the stadiums. That was so great that when you go into certain stadiums, there were certain idiosyncrasies of that particular stadium, that made it so unique. Now we just want them all uniform like that.
Right.
No, don't do that.
Does that mean that they're going to have to bring the fences in at Coors Field now because the ball doesn't,
Exactly
travel
right.
the same?
And Arizona.
In Arizona and these places that supposedly the ball flies more, the fences are farther. The places that the ball doesn't fly as much, the fences are a little bit closer. Does that mean they have to be uniform fences all the way across because they're keeping the baseballs to travel the same at every place? I mean, this is the beauty of baseball is you go to a certain field, plays differently.
That's where we're at. We talked about where's baseball going to be in 5 years. We're going to see it this year.
You don't need, where it's coming? You don't even need a stadium. You just need a tunnel. It's a pitcher, hitter, and then the computer tells you whether it was an out or not.
Just virtual.
Yeah,
just
that's
make a
all
little
it is
virtual
now.
screen.
Just go out there and just do that. That's
as you have said, if you need a humidor, then baseball shouldn't be played in Colorado.
It should not be played in Colorado. It's a different game in Colorado. Baseball should not be played there. Sorry. It just needs to move.
Well, we're going to move on. We'll let Nomar catch his breath here. Bobby Miller's first start of spring training is going to be a memorable one. It's his 23rd birthday, and he's pitching here at the Ravine. Coming up, Dodgers and Angels in about 12 minutes. Plus, Tyler Anderson has enjoyed a really good first spring with the Dodgers. Up next, we will hear from him and discuss his role for 2022. Here's the Dodgers' projected starting rotation to begin the season. Walker Buehler getting the opening day nod. Then you have a 20-game winner from last year, Julio Urias, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, and Clayton Kershaw. Andrew Heaney is in that 4th spot. Tony Gonsolin holding down the 5th spot in the rotation. Another option could always be Tyler Anderson, who's made 113 career starts. Earlier today, he talked one-on-one with Kirsten.
Tyler, first off, let's start with yesterday. You faced hitters live BP. How did that go for you?
It was good. It was another chance to keep getting built up and throw some more pitches and get some ups and some downs. And kind of work on building up as much as we can.
So we know that for the start of the season, the plan is that you'll be coming out of the bullpen, taking in some innings, some length there. What does that routine look like for you? Is it different since you've been a starter in the past?
Yeah, I think for me that's going to be one of these things that I'm kind of be learning on the fly, but I feel like there's a lot of good guys here to lean on. Like DP has kind of done this role too. Just kind of listen to my body and do what I need to do, be ready to go.
Has he given you any advice about the transition to the bullpen?
No, I haven't talked to him about that at all. He's just good to be around in general, but I feel like if I need to, I feel like I could probably ask him, and he's very open to talking and giving advice if you need it.
He told me that the guys in the bullpen have a little bit more fun, so hopefully you'll get some laughs back there. You think so?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like starters were very serious, but I feel like the bullpen, everybody says they love the bullpen because it's a lot more fun for sure.
So just being in the clubhouse, being around all of the star pitchers that are here, what has that been like for you and just building these relationships?
It's still been early. I've only been here for a couple of weeks still, but it's just really cool to see how guys go about their business. There's a lot of professionals, and you can just see that guys are good for a reason. If you stick around in this league, it's because typically you have a good routine, you work hard, and like even guys that people don't think of, you get to see them, and you're like, all right, it makes sense. Like you understand why people do what they do.
I know that you told me that coming into spring, you made sure to be ready so that you would be built up. Where would you say that you're at right now in regard to your build-up?
I feel good. I feel like I can go out and probably do anything that's asked of me at this point. So I want to say yesterday we probably threw around 80 pitches. So I feel like I could probably go, do whatever I need to do.
So I saw you sitting over.
So that was Tyler Anderson. He's only pitched out of the bullpen 4 times, Adrian, in his career, 113 starts, but he's looked really good in a relief role this spring. 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 10 strikeouts. What do you think his role is going to be in 2022? I think
His role is going to be a swing spot starter guy. He comes in, he piggybacks a starter early on in the year, fills in, gets the team through the 6th and 7th inning, and later on in the season he'll start spot starting and continue to piggyback and see where it goes. But I think he's going to be very valuable for the team.
Yeah, and I think that the way this team also adjusts, it'll be interesting to see if guys, we talked about that abbreviated spring training, how ready they are. I said first and foremost has to be health, but how sharp are they when it comes to this starting rotation? And if they have to make adjustments, they have guys so they can make adjustments. Maybe they have to go for a 6-man rotation, or maybe skip a guy for a moment here and there. They have a guy like him that allows them to do that. So I think having a guy like Tyler Anderson to create that versatility is key.
Well, there's still more to come here from Dodger Stadium as we get closer to first pitch between the Dodgers and the Angels. Chris Taylor starting in left field. He will bat 8th. It's the Dodgers and Halos minutes away in the final game of the spring. Just moments away from a big moment in the life of Bobby Miller, is about to make his first ever start at Dodger Stadium. He will begin the season at AA, but getting a nice 23rd birthday present tonight, starting against the Angels in the Freeway Series finale. Earlier today, Dave Roberts talked about giving the ball to his 23-year-old.
I just think it's great to have the third deck to pitch at Dodger Stadium for a young prospect, to kind of check a box with some unknown. When the situation happens going forward, where knowing how to get to the ballpark, knowing what the locker room looks like, how to get here, place to eat, it just kind of makes things a little bit more not so odd or something different, unique.
I imagine Bobby Miller will always remember this night, or this, even if it's not a regular season game, but both of you guys wore the Dodger uniform. Nomar, what was your memory of your very first game in a Dodger uniform here at Dodger Stadium?
Looking up to the stands and seeing my parents in the stands and put on that. That's what I remember, which was the coolest thing. So, and I pretty much raked all fields, Sean. That's probably what I remember.
Like Zach Walters.
No, but I remember that. I mean, it really is an honor, and it's a pleasure and a thrill to be able to put that uniform on.
You did have 2 hits that game against Miguel Batista of the Diamondbacks. Adrian, most Dodger fans remember your first game here right after the trade.
Yeah, it was a crazy day. Flying from Boston to LA, landing in traffic, getting our way to Dodger Stadium, and being able to have one of the most memorable at-bats I had in my career. First at-bat, hit a home run. We won the game. I struck out the next 3 at-bats, but who cares? We won the game, and I hit the home run. So
You're not supposed to mention that. Nobody remembers that. Everyone remembers
I didn't remember
that first at-bat going yard off of Josh Johnson. All right, why don't we do a little shot calling right now? Adrian, you get to go first. Who are you going to take tonight in that Dodgers lineup?
I'm going to take Cody Bellinger. I think he's been feeling more comfortable. He's been having good at-bats. His at-bats yesterday were a lot better, and I think today is the day that he really gets a couple hits out there.
I think that would be great. It'd be good to have him confident going into the season. I'm going with a guy who, you know, looks great at the plate all the time. Trey Turner. I think he goes deep today. We know he gets hits, but I think today he's going big fly.
You guys touched on this a little bit earlier. Nomar, quick thought on what you're hoping to get out of this game tonight if you're one of the guys.
You know, I'm excited to also see Bobby Miller like the guys are. So, you know, we'll see him on the mound and see what he brings.
Yeah.
Health. Let's just get everybody out of this game healthy.
That's it. Be healthy. No injuries tonight. This is it, everybody. That's the final dress rehearsal. Dodgers wrapping up spring training with the Freeway Series finale against the Angels and 23-year-old Bobby Miller on the mound. Joe Davis and Eric Karros have the call. Let's send it upstairs to the guys. We'll see you after the game.